Hot Tub Factory Outlet is now open in Draper. Don't wait months for your hot tub. Get it now. Enjoy that outdoor deep soaking experience you've been thinking about all year. Whether you have limited space or lots of room, you can have that relaxation you've been wanting today. Shop Utah's newest selection of Viking hot tubs. They're all on display at the beautiful new showroom. Best pricing in Utah and no wait time while supplies last. Hot Tub Factory Outlets at hottubfactoryoutlets.com.
Time to upgrade your adventure with an RV from Motorsportsland. Don't put off making exciting memories and exploring the many outdoor hideaways right here in Utah. Come in today and see how Motorsportsland can help you get away, or visit motorsportsland.com.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Where KSL offers Utah deeper insights on the news. Host Boyd Matheson divides rage from reason and elevates the conversation on issues crucial to our community. On KSL News Radio 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
So how do we make civics education better in the United States of America? Well, a bipartisan group of lawmakers has introduced a new bill, the Civics Secures Democracy Act, which I actually like the name. I often complain about the names of bills in Congress. This one actually says what it is, the Civics Secures Democracy Act, to help fill the gap in terms of that. One of the co-sponsors of the bill, Texas Senator John Cornyn, sat down with the Orrin G. Hatch Foundation today as part of a great series, a great webinar that took place today to talk about the need for civics education in the country. And the host of that, Matt Sandgren, who's the executive director of the Orrin G. Hatch Foundation, joins us now to help us break it all down. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Boyd, it's good to hear your voice.
Hey, it's great to have you back on the show. Great event today. And we've got a few little clips from Senator Cornyn that I wanted to play and have you respond to as you guided this really important conversation. Take a listen. This was Senator Cornyn talking about kind of the bad part of this, how bad people are when it comes to the basics of government.
In 2019, the Annenberg Public Policy Center said that only about a third of the people that they polled could identify all three branches of government. They could only identify three branches of government, meaning 2/3 couldn't, and they certainly couldn't tell you what the differences were between those branches. And 22% said they couldn't name a single branch of government. So obviously we have some work cut out for us.
Matt, you've been in the middle of this conversation for a lot of years now. What is it that gives you hope that we can actually get this thing right?
Well, what gives me hope, first off, is that you have someone like Senator Cornyn involved in the debate. He is no shrinking violet. He's a true conservative. He's working hard on all of our behalves on this issue, and he's working closely with some bipartisan others, senators and members of the House. But what you hear when he talks about the lack of understanding of our government institutions, what gives me pause is when he was citing some of those stats, a third. I mean, it brings me back to the fact that look at the distrust that we have as Americans. About 17% trust the government today.
Yeah.
So think about that. The way we view our government institutions, we already come at it with this, 70% trust. And then you have this situation where, like what Senator Cornyn was saying, about 39% of Americans can name all three branches of the government. And as I mentioned in the webinar, some folks shockingly think that Judge Judy's on the Supreme Court, right? So we've got a lot of work to do, but there is hope, and that's where that bill is. The fact that we're talking about this on your program, the very fact that we're talking about civic education shows that we're making some progress there.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important part of all of this. And one of the things that Senator Cornyn said that I thought was just a real great moment in the program today, and one that gives me a lot of hope, is really getting to the why of all of this, that learning civics empowers people. I want you to listen to this and then respond, Matt.
As a sovereign people, we are the ones who control the government, not the other way around. And the idea is, as spelled out in the Declaration of Independence and elsewhere, is one of popular sovereignty. In other words, our government gets its power from the bottom up, not from the top down. But given the polarization of our body politic and our news media and social media and the like, as well as, I might add, manipulation from outside sources. There's never been a time when we have needed more to get back to basics and to realize that we can't look to others to solve our problems. We have to look in the mirror, because we are the authority that we delegate then to our government, including our elected officials.
So, Matt, as you look at it, and from the Hatch Foundation's perspective in terms of empowering people, civics really does empower people to do it the right way, not top down, but bottom up.
Exactly. Think about that statement, bottom up rather than top down. And look at what we've watched just in the past couple of weeks with some of the issues that have come about on the news cycle. It's very true that we've got to get back to the basics, which is principally why the foundation, the Orrin G. Hatch Foundation, last year embarked on this project. We began in early of 2020. We did not know, by the way, of all the civil social unrest that would be ahead of us in 20 and 2021 when we worked with Hoover Institution's David Davenport, who joined our foundation staff for a season in writing our new report, our civics report called Common Sense Solutions to Our Civics Crisis. And what we do is we unpack this very issue, that we need to empower the rising generation to learn more about our government institutions. And one of the findings, which I mentioned on today's webinar, is and trust me, Boyd, I know what you will say, and I agree. I don't think that throwing any money is not the solution to this situation. Yeah. But take, for example, STEM education, the science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Everyone loves STEM. Utah, we're home to Silicon Slopes. We care very much about the tech sector, right?
Right.
But there's a huge deficiency here. We spend, on average, $54 for STEM education students versus 5 cents for civic education students.
Wow.
That pendulum has swung so far into the STEM education. And listen, I am not bemoaning. I'm not disparaging STEM. We all need that. We all want that.
Right.
But we've got to figure out some sort of balance to bring a little more focus to our civics education students.
Yeah.
Make it, as David Davenport has done very well, making it cool. He was talking about civics education before it became cool.
Right.
He's been talking about it for years. And that's what we're focused on in the foundation.
Yeah, so important. I want to stick in one last clip from Senator Cornyn from your event today, because we've talked about this. This is a bipartisan bill. You got Senator Chris Coons and others that have joined this, and Senator Cornyn talked about the controversy surrounding a bill about civics education. Take a listen.
It's amazing to me that actually this bill got a little bit controversial at the beginning, because people had a lot of skepticism about what we were trying to accomplish. They thought we were trying to weigh in on things like critical race theory and other controversial things. I have my own views about that. I won't bore you with here, but it's much more foundational than that. And we shouldn't let the shiny objects and the controversial points distract us from the fundamental equipping of our citizenry with the tools they need in order to control and govern ourselves.
So, Matt, just quickly as we round this out, any other takeaways from your event today, or things that you wish everybody was thinking about when it comes to civics education?
Absolutely. One of the points that Senator Cornyn also made, and this is where we need to have a little more confidence in when we talk about this issue, it should, first off, not be partisan. But civic education should be teaching people how to think, not what to think, right? And that's actually one of those points when he talked about this, the very controversial issues of critical race theory. We shouldn't be pushing those agendas in our schools. Our teachers should be teaching the students. I'm married to a teacher, by the way, and I strongly support teaching the students how to think for themselves. And that's part of the educational process. But the fact that when we have these agendas, so to speak, that's when it really, as Senator Cornyn said, it goes off the rails, and the shining objects start taking away from what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I might say to your listeners, please feel free to download our report. It's on OrrinHatchFoundation.org. It's a free report. And it's become very, very popular among national think tanks, the Common Sense Solutions to Our Civics Crisis. We hope everyone will read it, and I hope they'll agree with the findings that we've found, that it's desperately needed in our country.
Yeah, so important. Matt Sangren's executive director of the Orangey Hatch Foundation. Always appreciate his perspective. A great event today with Senator Cornyn from Texas and others on a critical issue, the Civics Secures Democracy Act. Worth checking out. And we'll come back and wrap up our Monday on KSL News Radio. Stay with us. We'll be right back.